abortion, right? It's a very sensitive situation topic, and a lot of people might get annoyed with what I'm about to say, my point of view. But mind you, it's just my point of view. It's just the way I see things. I'm just exploring the information that is available currently as it applies to the Supreme Court, as it applies to womanhood, as it applies to the man, and as it applies to the baby. You call it a blood clot or whatever you want to call it. Some people don't want to agree that it's a baby yet. Now, I have with me today a professor with me, and we'll be discussing opinion this topic. All right. So we're looking at the woman per se, womanhood, um, woman health, abortion, pregnancy, a baby. We're looking at that. I'll just go straight to the point. Will be direct. Do you think it's right for the woman to claim it's my right when it comes to the abortion?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think so?
Because it's your body. I think you should have total control over your body. I know it takes two to create a baby, but only the woman is responsible for the baby. The baby's in your body. It's your body. So whatever you do with your body, I think is your right.
Okay. So you think I'm gonna be very very controversial in that because that's one of the topic where to some extent I just think I agree to some extent, but I think it's not complete. Now, the woman, I agree it's the woman's body, but my point is this: we are not looking, and for the viewers, and my opinion will be centered with regardless of medical condition to the woman or the baby, regardless. Okay. Now, if there's a medical condition to the woman or the body, whatever I'm saying now won't make any sense. Okay. So what I'm saying is regardless to the woman and the baby. All right. So therefore, if we are looking at this from our perspective, right? It takes 280 days to conceive. For the baby to come to maturity, and we have a baby from the chromosomes, 46 chromosome, 23 from the father and the mother, right? Which is approximately 9 months or 40 weeks, right? Hold on a minute. We're not looking at the medical condition of the parent. Now, this whole narrative about the concentration of this narrative that the body, woman body, blah, 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 blah. We're not talking about the woman body because without the baby being in there, we will not be concentrating on this discourse, right? Because if we're saying the woman body, we're taking the attention away from what brings this topic. What brings the topic is what is inside the woman's body. I don't know if I'm making a point.
But yeah, you're saying.
So, if we are saying the woman's body per se, that means you're potentially telling every living human being on earth that is the grace of the woman that being is existing or living.
And you find something wrong with that?
I'm getting to a point. I mean, it's something. I'm getting to a point. So now it's like you're saying that it's by the grace of the woman that being is living. Okay. But you forget that biologically, no woman can conceive alone. Scientifically, mechanically, technologically, or however you want to put it, no woman can conceive alone because it takes 46 chromosomes, 22 from the male, 22 from the female, to make a human, right? Now, if we say the woman's body, we're taking some credibility or away from the other person. I'll still reiterate, regardless of medical condition, I don't think a woman, because potentially a lot of things is going on that people want to just get abortion because of their career. Because in this part of the world, it is very, very expensive to raise a baby. Time and money. All right? There are people that just want to do away with the baby because it would affect their career or put their career on pause or hold. Now, let me give you a scenario. Let's say we have a male that has been trying, or the doctor has told that male, a man, you cannot give birth. Miracle does happen, right? Then all of a sudden, the girlfriend or the woman comes along, oh, I'm pregnant, but I'm taking it off. It's my body. I don't want it. Do you think that is fair?
So now, no, I don't.
Now,
think
don't
that's
go.
fair.
Now,
I don't
whatever
think
you're
that's
going to
fair.
discuss on, take it around what I just said, regardless of medical condition, because a lot of this are happening with, without medical condition. They just, so if that is not being analyzed properly, people will take advantage of that, and there's nothing wrong with the woman or the baby. My point at the end of the day is that I think the man should also be looked at, should also be involved.
But
Medical
involved how? Like, what is he gonna do? Say yes or no? Give you permission?
If the man wants it,
You can't carry.
she can carry. Okay, now, can I say something?
Sure.
It might be out of the ordinary. Do you think at the end of the day, if the woman decides to keep the baby, it's right for the man to say, I'm not going to pay child support, it's my money, I'm not going to pay? Is that right? It's a woman's body. Okay, you don't want to give, that's fine. But if you decide to have this, what I'm saying is that if it's the woman's body, right? Potentially, if the woman decide to have this baby, then the man can also decide that if he doesn't want the baby, it's my money, I'm not going to pay child support. Do you think that's fair?
No, I don't think that's fair. No, let me take that back. I do think it's fair. Because this is like a ethical issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I told you I'm having an abortion, so you're not expecting, okay, whatever, you might not be happy about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had an abortion, whatever. Now, 9 months later, I'm telling you, oh, by the way, I'm going to need such and such every month because I didn't have an abortion, right? So I got
No.
the right to choose my mind, right? Change my mind.
Okay.
But you were not expecting this.
So that's why I'm saying I don't think it's fair, because it seems that the woman has the both yes and no, which I feel
Yes.
it's not fair to the man. And also, I have also stated numerous times that this abortion, this woman's body is a woman right. I think the way it's being put forward, it's wrong, because it's giving a message that is not valid enough to the manhood. Because a lot of these abortions that have been done, potentially, I'm not, regardless of medical condition, I state again, regardless of medical condition to the woman or the baby, most of these things are done because having a baby might affect the woman's career, might affect the woman's personality, how the family looks at the woman, how the community looks at the woman. Potentially, most ladies that came from a Christian background, they want to honor or keep that ritual or that personality or that integrity going forward. But after this has been done, a lot of men have PTSD with this, because this whole narrative is just putting the man as if the man is a machine, switch on and off, switch on and off. Nobody is talking about how this impacts the man, because no single woman can potentially state that she alone, conceived by herself and produce a baby by herself. It has not happened, and it will never happen. That's not how we were created. So therefore, if the woman decides to abort the baby and say it's a woman's body, fair enough. I also think it's fair for the man at the end of the day, if the woman says I want to have the baby and the man also says I don't want the baby, and the woman eventually went ahead to have the baby, the woman should take care of the baby herself. It's a woman's body, right? So it's a man's money. So you potentially cannot force the man to part away with his money, which I know is a very stupid argument. but it's fair to argue such if you're putting forward this woman's body is woman's body. You know, we are saying, oh, a lot of argument people say also say that. Do you know the pain that the pain of the 9 months the woman went through, the period every month, blah blah blah. That is the process of procreation.
Yeah.
You can never take that out, regardless if the woman is ready or not. So you're telling me now if the woman is ready, I want to have a baby, you're still gonna have that same process. Now you're using that as an argument. It never comes nice and dandy or whatever. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's the valid argument. Oh, the woman every month, the pain, that is part of womanhood. You know, so I think for my own conclusion or you know, to sum my opinion is that I think the man's also should be looked at in regards to making that decision. At the end of the day, the decision should go with what works best, not just because, oh, it's my body, it's my woman, right? Then there's, oh, just go ahead. You know, I think the way it's being put forward is wrong.
So I still believe that ultimately the woman should have the right to choose what they want to do with their body. I don't think you should open up the door in any way for someone to have some type of control over what you do with your body. However, I think like the issues that you raise, I think you can't, like when you talk about the child support and like, you know, there being too involved, like you can't legislate morals and your ethics. You can't do that. So these people involved should have some type of common understanding of what they would do if things happen. You know, because the law can't tell you what's right and what's wrong.
Understandable.
You know.
Now, why would these people be gentle or understanding or compromise when now it has to do with the man's money? But when it has to do with the woman with the baby, the woman has the sole right. I don't think that's fair.
Well,
it's a hard topic, right?
yeah.
I don't think that's fair. That's my own point. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the woman cannot go ahead and abort the baby. But my point is that if there's no medical condition, I think we should also look at the man involved, because no woman per se can potentially procreate by herself. So I think the man also be looked for. Whether we like it or not, there are people currently on earth, male men, that are suffering some PTSD in regards to that, because they didn't have the decision, the right, they didn't have an input, nothing, and potentially maybe they wanted that baby. I'm not saying at the end of the day their decision, or I mean their opinion will matter, but at least give them some preference. Let them, you know.
That would be difficult to have somebody carry a baby that they don't want.
It will be difficult, but it's also be difficult for a man paying a hefty sum each month if he doesn't want the baby, right?
Yeah, but that's just money.
It's money, right?
It's just money.
So how is it money when it comes to the man? And what's most important, the life, whether I will like it or not? A lot of people say it's not life. No, life starts at the point of conception. So it doesn't matter, oh no, he has not developed yet, the heart is not beat. I don't think that's ridiculous.
No,
You can check it scientifically.
Yeah.
You can life start at the moment of conception. It's just that I'm right now. I'm not gonna say I'm 60 years, but would I be 60 years eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would I be an elder or senior citizen? Okay, eventually, it's inside of me. It's a process. That same way, the process of you know, the childbirth is, the child don't just won't move from A to Z. It's a process, but life start at conception.
I believe life started at conception.
This is a very sensitive topic, and most times when I bring that issue, a lot of people that are so strong on that, oh, it's a woman's body. Then when I start bringing that issue, they're like, oh, okay, boy, you kind of saying some crazy things right now.
No, but people do. I agree with you saying that people have it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
That is true. But who am I to say, well, you know what, I see, you know, you just don't want to derail your career, or I don't, you know,
That's true.
frivolous, or you just won't use birth control, you know. Like this
And the funny thing is the way the government has taken this issue, especially the Democrat. It's very funny. Why are you laying more emphasis on termination than prevention? Because the way the emphasis has been laid on termination is baffling. I've not heard, I don't even know the different process of like preventing if I was not in the medical field. You know what I mean? But the little kid know what abortion is.
Yeah.
Terminating. And that's funny. So if you want people not to, I think they should put more emphasis on information on how to prevent such from happening, so we won't be talking about terminating.
Well, one of the things that's going on now is that a lot of people don't want sex education in the classroom. So that's like, usually sex education is part of health, but there is a big movement to have conversation about sex, and you know, you got to send permission, and all, you know, it's just not as,
I think
they don't want that. So people
yeah.
don't get education like they're supposed to.
Understandable.
Wow.
It's a very sensitive argument, and I don't think.
One thing, Harrison, when
Yeah.
you talk about the government being so intertwined with that, you know, this is an issue that you will hear a lot of people say that this is about white genetic annihilation. This is not about a woman's rights. It's not about that at all. It's about their inability to procreate.
I also heard that too.
That they want to be, they're not the dominant population.
Yeah, I
and
heard
they're
that.
dying and they're not reproducing. And you see all this fertility stuff because they be on birth control since the time, you know, and then when they want to have babies, they can't. And then the ones that are having babies are having abortions because they want to pursue their careers and
That's
all
what
this
I
other
heard.
stuff.
I've not fact checked that too, but I heard that the
So,
Caucasians, they are more the ones that are doing this
Because
abortion.
why do they need to? Why does the government need to suddenly say, "Oh,
True.
let's stop abortion"? Like, you know, why?
The Supreme Court has to get involved in it,
Yeah,
which
why
was
do they
funny. I was
care?
like,
You think
"What's
they
happening?"
care
I think
about
that's
us having kids?
the most important thing I've heard in America at this time.
Yeah.
The abortion, that's the most important thing. I think that was
having
funny.
babies. We ain't having trouble. We're not having trouble having babies. We're not the ones having trouble. The Latina community is not the ones having trouble.
So
So they don't have to protect us. We good.
that's true. I really appreciate this conversation. It was interesting. It's my honor